Imagine this, high above our heads, beyond the reach of airplanes and weather balloons, beyond the satellites we've launched into orbit, there drifts a silent, dark object. An object that some believe has been circling Earth for over 13,000 years. Mysterious, silent, watching, waiting. This is the legend of the Black Knight satellite, one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in space. Our story begins in 1899, when the genius inventor Nikola Tesla was experimenting with radio transmissions in Colorado Springs. Tesla believed he had intercepted signals, not random noise, not natural phenomena, but deliberate, repeating pulses. To him, it was intelligent communication, perhaps from beings not of this earth. At the time, most dismissed his claim. But today, conspiracy theorists suggest Tesla may have been the very first human to pick up a signal from the Black Knight satellite. If true, that means this mysterious object was broadcasting to Earth long before we had the technology to understand it. Decades later, in the 1920s and 1930s, amateur radio operators across the world reported bizarre phenomena. They sent signals into space, only for those same signals to return seconds later, delayed in impossible ways. These long delay echoes baffled scientists. Theories ranged from atmospheric anomalies to experimental errors. But what if it wasn't an error at all? What if those echoes were bouncing back from an enormous, hidden object orbiting Earth? An object humanity had not yet placed there. Then came the 1950s. The Cold War was raging, and the United States was tracking the skies with radar. In 1954, newspapers reported a shocking claim. The U.S. Air Force had detected not one, but two unknown satellites orbiting Earth. At that time, neither the U.S. nor the Soviet Union had the capability to launch satellites. Sputnik, the first official satellite, wouldn't come until 1957. So, what were these objects? The government quickly dismissed the story, calling it an error, but to many, it was proof. The Black Knight had been spotted. By 1960, the U.S. Navy's tracking system picked up a massive, dark, tumbling object in polar orbit, an orbit that no Earth-made satellite had ever taken before. Analysts estimated it weighed over 15 tons, far too heavy for any human technology of that era. This wasn't Sputnik. This wasn't man-made. It was something else. The most famous moment in the Black Knight saga came in 1998 during NASA's STS-88 mission, the first shuttle mission to the International Space Station. Astronauts photographed a strange, angular black object floating above Earth. When the images were released, the UFO community exploded. To them, this was undeniable proof. The Black Knight had been caught on camera at last. NASA quickly responded, insisting the object was nothing more than a lost thermal blanket that had drifted away during a spacewalk. Convenient. But here's the problem. The object in those photos looks structured, geometric, artificial. Does a thin sheet of foil truly resemble a massive alien satellite? Many weren't convinced. Why do people say the Black Knight is 13,000 years old? That timeline comes from ancient astronomical cycles. The object's supposed orbit lines up with the precession of the equinoxes, a 13,000-year cycle known to ancient civilizations. Some argue this isn't coincidence. They suggest the Black Knight has been circling Earth since before the rise of civilization. watching as humans built cities, empires, and nations. Perhaps it was even placed there deliberately, as a kind of ancient monitoring system. And here's where the story gets stranger. The Dogon tribe of Mali in West Africa had knowledge of the Sirius star system that modern science only confirmed in the 20th century. They said beings from Sirius gave them this knowledge. Could the Black Knight have been the messenger, relaying information between humanity and the stars? Some theorists pushed the story further. They claim the Black Knight isn't just alien. It may be a remnant of Atlantis, the mythical lost civilization. If Atlantis was real and advanced, perhaps their technology reached the stars. Perhaps the Black Knight is their final artifact, left behind to circle Earth forever. Others believe Tesla's intercepted signals were no accident. They say the US government suppressed his findings, burying evidence that humanity had already made contact with something in orbit. Was Tesla silenced because he had uncovered the truth too soon? And then there are the whispers about NASA. What if those famous photos from 1998 weren't a mistake? What if they were deliberately leaked? A controlled release of information, giving humanity just enough to suspect, but never enough to prove. Some conspiracy theorists claim the Black Knight is not passive at all. They argue it is still transmitting data, still communicating, perhaps with its creators. Some even believe it will soon activate again, becoming visible in ways we cannot deny. According to one fringe theory, the year 2025 may mark its reawakening. Imagine that, an alien satellite suddenly broadcasting again after 13,000 years of silence. What message would it send? Who is it speaking to? Of course, skeptics have explanations. Tesla's signals were natural cosmic phenomena. The long delay echoes are still unexplained, but not alien. The 1950s sightings were Cold War paranoia. The 1998 photos show nothing more than space junk. But if all of these events are coincidences, why do they form such a consistent story across decades, even centuries? Why does the Black Knight legend refuse to die? The final question. In the end, the Black Knight satellite remains one of the most enduring mysteries in the UFO community. Is it a piece of space debris caught in a myth, a misunderstood NASA photo? Or is it something much older, much stranger, an alien probe that has been silently orbiting our world since before humans walked the Earth? The truth is out there, drifting in the silent void above us. So the next time you look up at the night sky, remember, we might not be alone, and perhaps we never were.